Thank you so much. I thank Mr. Jose for making my life very easy. I think somewhere or the other I wanted to talk about the various asset classes which are present and why, as a distributor community, we are not giving importance to all the asset classes. That was one discussion. That's what the agenda of the discussion is, asset allocation and why it is important for all of us. But I think, first of all, I would like to thank the IFPA for giving us this opportunity, this stage, to speak to you and give a little bit of a perspective in terms of what we think and what we feel are the right ideas that possibly you people can look at this point and start doing allocations on those lines for your investors and clients per se. Now, this is a very favorite topic. In fact, if you look at any of our communication, any presentations, any kind of, events that we people are, I guess somewhere or the other, Nippon Mutual Fund kind of ends up speaking about asset allocation. And it is important. It is important largely from a point of view that as practitioners, you people speak to your clients, you want the best of the returns generated for them. So world over, there was a study that in order to understand how possibly people can make the most returns. Interesting enough, if you look at the graph which is there, the pie chart, the various reasons were attributed as to why people make returns whenever they make investments. And one thing that came out very clearly is that it is not market timing, neither it is security selection, but 91% of the reason why people make returns is asset allocation. It is an absolutely important thing, and when we don't follow this, there are two fallouts that happen. Number one, investors lose out because different asset classes perform differently at different points of time. But then because this is a meeting for advisors and how you people can build your business, I think I will stress this fact that you are building risk in your own portfolios. Please understand, the AUM that you manage is essentially a sum total of what is the kind of allocations that you're making. For all of us as businessmen, I think it becomes very important and critical to understand what kind of cash flows we have from our business on a monthly basis. Now that it's a trail income, I think we all rely upon this assets that we have built in order to get a stream of income from that. If that asset base that we have is largely risky and is only invested in equities, and in situation and times where markets do correct, and correct well, we have seen that in the last 5-6 months, how the corrections have happened, that asset base gets eroded, which in turn affects the cash flows for you. So if not for your clients, think for your own cash flows and see how asset allocation will go a long way in ensuring that you people get a steady state cash flow from the allocations that you have made. But more importantly, I think because we are practitioners and we are distributors and we have to give the right kind of products to our investors, it also becomes important to understand that our investors are not very rational. They have their own thought process, and because of this irrationality, sometimes we are not able to give them the right products even if we intend to. What do I mean by that? I mean that there will always be a pushback from clients when you ask them to do the right thing. We always say that, we need to buy high, buy low and sell high, but we end up buying high and selling low. This irrationality creates a lot of problem for investors ultimately to make returns from their portfolios. If you have an allocation, then in that case you don't get into this challenge. You don't have to constantly keep asking them to invest in different products at different points of time. This asset allocation ensures that the investors make the right kind of returns. More important, I think there were certain points Sir was mentioning when he was doing his presentation. Taxes are different challenge altogether for us in our profession. How well we manage those taxes will help us in doing things much better for our investors. Fact remains that When we try to rebalance our portfolios using either equity and debt, then in that case, there are different kind of implications of tax at different points of time. With an asset allocation model, more or less what happens is the AMC kind of does the changes and you don't have to do the rebalancing at your end, which helps the investor from not paying unnecessary taxes to the government and enjoy the earned wealth and the wealth that has been created for them through these various investment vehicles. But the most important thing that needs to be understood, last it's doing extremely well, giving fantastic returns to our investors from equity as an asset class. But suddenly we realize that, equity has not done that well. 23, 24% kind of a negative return is what the markets have generated in the last 6-7 months. And these asset classes, we cannot assume which one will do well, which one will not do well. Because there are different winners at different points of time, and it is impossible at our end to predict which asset class is going to do well, it is important that we do asset allocation. So, friends, asset allocation is core, and the more we are clear about this particular fact and practice it in our profession, the easier it becomes for us as well as for investors to create wealth in the long run. Now, there are various reasons and various thought processes which possibly can be built upon as to how do you look at it and why do you look at this kind of a situation or asset allocation. First of all, we are all humans, and humans, we will have our own biases. Today, if you go and tell your investor that markets have corrected by 20%, in fact, last 7 days markets went up, last 2 days markets are falling, today you go and tell somebody that no, it's a good time to enter. There will be enough and more reasons your investors will give you as to why they don't want to invest right now. Some might say, I have people who I know in the government. They are planning a full-fledged war on Pakistan right now. Markets will correct. So this is not a good time. We will wait for more correction and then we will enter the market. Otherwise, somebody will say, no, I know of a fund manager. He has told me that no, this is not a good time. Earnings are not going to be good. So all kinds of knowledge and understanding will come to you, which even you have no idea about. And this will be given by your investors to you. On the other hand, when markets are looking very expensive and you say, no, sir, let's not invest anymore. This is not a good time to invest. You should not invest in small caps right now. We should look at certain conservative investments so that we will be able to protect, because markets are already high in valuations and so on and so forth. Answers will come to you as, I'm a long-term investor. I manage my risks well. I'm not bothered about short-term corrections in the market. Okay? So whatever you are advising, whatever you are asking your investors to do, they counter it with their own biases, with their own thought processes. And it is very difficult to basically convince them with the right thought process. More importantly, like I said a while back, the intent and idea is to buy low, sell high. That is how you make money or how you make returns. But unfortunately, time and again, we just do the opposite. We buy high and we sell low. So it is absolutely critical as practitioners of this business to have certain tools at our end by the way of which we will be able to get investors do the right things with. Secondly, I think if you look at within every asset class, there are sub-asset classes. Okay? For the last 1.5 years, we have been screaming from the top of our voice. Small caps are not looking very, very good. They're looking extremely expensive. Look at large caps. But everybody wants to sell small cap. Every investor wants small cap. Different asset classes, like they perform differently every year. Different sub-asset classes also perform differently every year. Which asset class is going to win? It's almost an impossibility for all of us to know. The same happens when it comes to debt also. Whether it is going to be long-term debt, whether it is going to be short-term debt, each of these sub-asset classes behave differently and will perform differently at different points of time. Now that we have established both the facts, that asset classes behave differently, sub-asset classes behave differently, diversification is required in order to do an asset allocation, how you will be able to deal with it. Earlier, I used to believe that it's no job of the manufacturer to create solutions and give to distributors. The distributors understand the clients. The distributor have products, both in form of debt and equity. Combination should be created and solution should be made for clients. But challenges in form of taxation, challenges in form of irrational behavior definitely comes into play. And that is where it is important to have these solutions. And these solutions come in the form of hybrid funds. Because they have various different kinds of allocations across asset classes in various mixes, which can be given to investors and investors. In Nippon, we have 4-5 different such ideas which possibly can be given to our investors. Some of them are dynamic in nature, some of them are fixed in nature. And each of these ideas are positioned extremely different from each other. There is no overlap in terms of these ideas. Okay? Even when it comes to the dynamic models, we are not using only the same model in order to decide how do we do it. There are different models that we use for different products. In fact, if you see this slide gives you an idea of how we have different equity allocations across different products that are there with us. There is a hybrid bond fund which has a 12% exposure to have a aggressive hybrid fund which has close to 73% exposure in equities at this point of time. And the rest of the products in between have different levels. What will I do is, over the next 5 odd minutes, I will quickly touch upon 2 products for you so that you people can understand it better and probably start selling them also going forward. The first product is called as the multi-asset allocation fund. Like the name suggests, it has got multiple different assets present in this particular portfolio. It's a true blue product because the fund invests in equities, the fund invests in commodities, the fund invests in fixed income. When it comes to equities again, the fund invests both in domestic equities as well as in international equities. So you get a good exposure of equities both from the India point of view or for that matter from other countries. If you look at today's market, India corrected, but then all of Asia has gained by approximately a percentage point. Okay, Nikkei has done well, COPSI has done well, Hang Seng has done well. So all of these markets today did well, but then India didn't do well, right? So if you have, and I said that some asset classes may do well this year, some might not do well. But then if you have all the asset classes with you, the one that is winning will give you the return, and the one that is not winning probably will kind of marginalize the returns for you. But your portfolio will work all the time and you will not carry a large risk. So 50% of the portfolio will be invested into Indian equities, 20% into international equities. The rest 30%, 15% is invested into commodities, of which you will have at least 10% in gold and the rest in silver and other precious metals or other commodities as such. And the last 15% gets invested in your short-term debt kind of a product. Now this 50, 20, 15, 15 that I talk of, this ratio, this remains fixed. This doesn't change. So you people are clear that in this particular fund, 50% will be in domestic equities, 20% in international equities, 15% into commodities, and 15% into debt. I was talking about a while back that, we need to buy low and sell high. In this fund, we practice that. Every quarter, we reset this ratio to the same level, 50, 20, 15, 15. Whichever assets have done well, we book profits from that, and we take those profits and invest in those assets which have not done well. So what you're doing is, without even asking your clients, you are getting this benefit of buying low and selling high. So I was talking about the irrational behavior. This is how you subtly manage that particular behavior and ensure that your clients get the best of the solutions available to them. More importantly, apart from equity, gold, international equity, and debt, there is one more benefit that we get in form of an asset in this particular product. Almost 35% of this portfolio has got dollar exposure. All your international equities are bought with dollars. All your commodities are bought in dollars. So because of this dollar exposure that you have, you also have a currency part of it in this particular product. We know this very well, that the Indian rupee depreciates against the dollar every year. And that number is anywhere between 3.5 to 5%. So that is the kind of depreciation that happens to the Indian rupee on a regular basis. There is always a debate as to whether it is good or bad. But then the reality is that RBI kind of manages this, and RBI allows this to happen. Why does RBI allow this to happen? The benefit comes in the form of the export market. We become more competitive in the export market if the currency is a little weaker compared to the dollar. Because this thing is evident and is visible, please understand the beauty that comes with this fund. 35% in dollar assets, 3.5 to 5% correction every year. So your portfolio gains by 1% just by investing in this fund. You take an investment in this fund, 1% return is created because of this dollar exposure that the fund takes. So it's a fabulous product which gives you all the benefit that you need in terms of asset allocation, in terms of diversification, in terms of managing the irrational behavior by buying low and selling high, by giving you exposure across different asset classes whatsoever it is. It's a product which has done extremely well, has spent almost 5 years in the business, and has given very good returns. I will also show you the returns that the fund has been able to generate. So this is number one. Now we all like one thing. That's 4,000. 10 rupees becoming 4,000 rupees. 30 years that fund has been in existence. This is the year where we complete 30 years in October. The fund has given a return of 23.8% CAGR. There is no product in the market which possibly can beat this track record that the fund has. It has been a tremendous wealth creator, and let me tell you, you are going to be dishonest to your clients if you have not given them the opportunity to invest in Nippon India Growth Fund. It's a legend in itself. So my mid cap is taken care by Nippon India Growth Fund, and the small cap allocation is through Nippon India Small Cap Fund. Do I have to tell anything about small cap? No, I'm like, if you want to understand, I will definitely say. But then there is nothing to say. There is enough proof which is there about what these funds stand for, what these funds do, and how they have benefited investors and have created wealth. We are using these three funds as the equity exposure for this particular product. Okay? Now, when it comes to debt, we are talking about our gilt fund and we are talking about a short-term fund. And the gold part, we use our gold ETF. We have a gold ETF which we have. So these are the 6 funds that we use. I'll give you a secret and I'll end my presentation. The secret is, how do you make money for your investors? That's what I said. Now. I'll give the secret away, I said. Then it's supposed to be public. So how do you make money for your investors? You make money for your investors when you are able to generate alpha. How will you be able to generate alpha? You generate alpha when you are able to invest in the right asset class in that particular year. If in the year 2018, you didn't invest in gold and you invested in equity, then in that case, you didn't make alpha for your clients. All those people who invested in gold in 2018 made returns for clients or created alpha for the investors. On the other hand, if in 2021 you were invested in gold, you didn't make any alpha for your client. You only made alpha if you were investing in equity. Fact remains that if you are able to choose the right asset class, then in that case, you will be able to benefit from it, or you will be able to generate alpha. We go to 2021 again. Here, if you look at, if you were not invested in small cap and you were invested in large cap, then in that case, you didn't create alpha for your client. You created alpha if you were invested in small caps in that particular year. Okay? What I am giving you in terms of the asset allocation fund is the fact. You're not able to move it? Give me a second, please. In asset allocator fund, our model makes sure that not only we are able to identify the asset class which does well, but also the sub-asset class. Okay? There are 7 different parameters that we use in order to determine that. And this product has successfully managed to identify which asset class is going to do well and which sub-asset class also has done well. And that is visible in the fact that the scheme's performance. So this is the multi-asset allocation fund's performance. Since inception, we have been able to generate a 16.5% return, where BSE Sensex, which is like, a pure equity, representation, has generated 17%. So despite the fact that it takes exposure into gold, debt, and other asset classes, it has been able to generate returns similar to that of equity. So that is very, very good about this particular product. The same when you look at for the asset allocator fund. I think, the power went off. It's all right. The asset allocator fund, the return is to the tune of around 18%. So friends, I think both these products are powerful products. Like I said, it will help you to create a portfolio which is perfect for your clients. And more importantly, it will be able to do that subtly without your clients having any kind of challenges, because the fund manager takes care of it. So invest well, and invest using asset allocation methods. That is the surefire way not only to create wealth for your investors, but then also to generate a fantastic performance for your own business and the growth for you. Thank you so much for the time.